What happens when good people see the business is no longer growing and they see that you can't see your blind spots? What do any high quality person do at that point? They leave. And then you can say, my best people left. Well, your best people left because you weren't the best leader. If you have the money today and you go get a big ass tractor and you just start digging a big hole thinking you're gonna find gold, you're gonna probably statistically find yourself in trouble. And this is the problem with third generation and fourth generation is the money's there and then the third or fourth comes in and starts spending it, but they actually don't know what they're doing because they didn't apply science to it. People ask how I sold the business for 77 times EBITDA. Well, I read a book in 2009 called 3 Feet from Gold by Sharon Lechter. The thesis of the book was a father and son that were gold mining and they had enough money, they could buy all the best equipment, they could do all the best of everything, but they blew through all their money because they didn't know what they were doing, and then they went to sell their property and all the machinery they bought. And the gentleman that they had been buying all the machinery from had been watching them, although he had never mined. He'd been watching them for years, and he was also watching people who knew what they were doing. So he kept his ledger. And when they came and said, we're out of money, we can't even move all the equipment off our property, he says, just leave it there. People can go up and use the equipment to learn to use it, and I'll have it as my test field. Just sign everything over to me. And then he went up there and found the largest gold find ever. Now, the father and son moved out east. You'd think that they would do what most people would do, lick their wounds, be, as Grant would say, little the rest of their life. But instead of doing that, they built one of the largest industrial companies ever and became extremely wealthy from what they learned their mistakes were. So when I read this book, I'm like, okay, if I was a business, what would be the analogy? Well, the analogy is you spend a third of all your money bringing in an expert organization that could drill 100 or 200 test holes all over your property. And then they would come to you with the 2 or 3 soil samples that had the greatest amount of gold. Then you threw all your energy at those 3 test holes. Would you have a better shot than randomly picking a spot to dig, yes or no? So this is what I started thinking about. How do I, if every business is a gold vein in a marketplace, how do I dig enough test holes to understand how to impact it? Well, that led to today our platforming process, of which we did hundreds of businesses before I sold Audigy. Then I platformed the businesses that could buy me. So when I went to them, I knew where their failures were, and I knew where we could fill them, and I knew where the gold was. And so I would start my presentation, every presentation, this is why I have 10x pitch, because most people present wrong. I'd start the presentation with, hi, I'm Brandon Dawson. I have a $35 million business that makes $2.3 million a year. And if you acquired me, I would add $2 billion worth of value to your business within 36 months. And I want 10% of it. Not one of them said, you're an idiot. You have a $2 million EBITDA and you want 200 million. What was the one question every one of them asked me? How are you going to add $2 billion? And they were so excited to prove me wrong that they listened to everything I told them. And by the time I was done with 8 bidders, I had 8 presentations, I had 8 bidders, and I bid them up to what was reported 151, but was really $189 million, because I knew what my target was. And so this is really important. People ask me if I wasn't building operating companies, what would I be doing? I would just be doing this. That's all I would do. I do leadership coaching, and it's not just leadership, it's business mastery leadership. Do you guys understand that what this program is I've cut out the esoteric part of leadership and I've applied what you need to learn as a leader for business, technical business moves at each breakpoint. And I codified it. Because if I can speed up your ability to handle things bigger, better, faster, more impactfully, without needing to go read 100 books and try to figure it out over 10 years, and get you to execute little incremental things in real time that are easy to do, you will impact your business faster. And as you impact your business faster, your confidence goes up. So the game of building a big business is a game of confidence. The faster you can take action, get a better result, the more confidence you have to take faster action to get a better result. Does that make sense? But if you're standing there, you're looking up and you're going, man, it's so far away. It's just so overwhelming. It's so heavy. It looks so dangerous. It's so hard. That loss of momentum and that overwhelm is the thing that's pulling you off target versus one step at a time. Keep my head down, one step at a time. Connect to somebody that knows what they're doing and trust them. It's the hardest thing in business. And it's hard then for you to turn around to your team behind you and go, now you need to trust me. It's another Maxwell quote. If you're the Lone Ranger and you're like, I'm doing everything myself, it's easy for your team not to trust you when they know your failures and they're not seeing the business grow. Do you understand that? What happens when good people see the business is no longer growing and they see that you can't see your blind spots? What do any high quality person do at that point? They leave. And then you can say, my best people left. Well, your best people left because you weren't the best leader. because great people don't leave great leaders.